Skibidi Toilet, created by Boom, is objectively the most popular series on all of YouTube, having billions of views. But you already knew that, didn't you? And how could this possibly relate to Roblox games? Well, picture this. It's 2023. You're a Roblox YouTuber who primarily plays Pet Sim. While you used to get good numbers, the game gets rot by pay to win and ugly features, leading both the game and your viewership to die. You want to do this full time, so what do you do? This is the situation of a person named Talanthric, and by following onto the whole Skibidi toilet trend that was extremely big at its time, he came up with the bright idea of making a game based around it. So he got to work. Within only a couple weeks, he was able to build things like the lobby, the whole tower defense mechanic, and some of the units, which was possible only by the help of his friend I Am Evan. While they had no idea how big the game would become, Talanthric trusted Evan with 50% of the revenue cut, making the project a 50-50 between them. And after updating the game with each episode releasing, Toilet Tower Defense became the biggest game on Roblox. As player count stayed in the hundreds of thousands, only growing with each update, creators started hopping on. And although the games received hate due to 1, people not liking Skibidi Toilet, because they haven't watched the show and they think it's brain rot, and 2, calling his game low quality, which for the fact it was. But if you've seen my Talanthric money video that I made back in the day, you would have known that Talanthric was making about $15 million a year from that game, until one big thing happened. Boom mentioned that he wanted 50% of the revenue cut on all Skibidi related games. While this cut would seem unreasonable to most people, this was Talanthric's big moneymaker, and although it was a big hit, he had to do it. So things kept on going. Toilet Tower Defense kept on growing, and because of the game's rise to fame, other tower defense games started popping up like crazy. Eventually, it created a whole genre off of one game, and with other people trying to capitalize on the Skibidi toilet trend, Talanthric still remained #1 until it didn't. Eventually, people began to hate. Talanthric was showing signs of abusing his community for money, creating super expensive game passes, rendering the game as incredibly pay to win, and adding useless updates and features that didn't really add anything to the game. This, paired with the fact that other games were doing better than Toilet Tower Defense now, meant that Toilet Tower Defense will do something they would regret forever. One of the creators that profited the most from this game was a YouTuber by the name of LEMMiNO. He was the single biggest creator on the game, and one day he decided to play Skibidi Tower Defense for a video. He didn't have a single thought in mind, he just wanted to try out a new game and compare it, until Talanthric personally took away his partner roles and pretty much banned him from the game. Talanthric got so greedy that he started to demote people and ban YouTubers that decided to play Skibidi Tower Defense for content. Talanthric wasn't in it because he liked the game. All Talanthric wanted was to make his money and be the biggest Skibidi toilet game. He would do that on any account possible. By banning players who played Skibidi Tower Defense, he was able to manipulate a lot of YouTubers playing other Skibidi related games, therefore meaning that those games can't grow while Toilet Tower Defense does grow. LEMMiNO did not listen to this at all, and so for a solid 4 months, Toilet Tower Defense had lost their biggest creator, and now they had competition. And although Talanthric nearly got what he wanted, something completely unexpected happened. Only a couple days before the Hunt event released, Ruben Sim, a very famous pred catcher, exposed Toilet Tower Defense's community manager Inhi on activities that I can't even show in this video. Considering that Inhi and Talanthric were friends, this put a big shame on his name, and this became the downfall for the biggest Skibidi toilet game on Roblox. For the sake of the game's reputation, Talanthric had to kick him out. Whether they're still in contact or not is unknown, but after all the events that happened, Talanthric started completely giving up on Toilet Tower Defense. All the stuff I mentioned earlier, plus the bonus of Boom slowing down his upload schedule, led Toilet Tower Defense to make some of the worst updates I might have seen in my entire life, and the YouTubers did not like this at all. In the span of only a couple weeks, Toilet Tower Defense released so many bad updates that they lost almost half of their partnered creators, and despite Talanthric sending off ownership to another person, he was still too money hungry and decided to just kill off the game by spamming it with pay to win rewards. The biggest Skibidi toilet Roblox game was now dead. This left me and many other YouTubers that I know have a really rough time in our lives. While all of us tried out some new games as an experiment, only a solid amount of us were able to replicate a portion of that success. That's when I got a bright idea. What happened to that Skibidi Tower Defense game? After making a couple videos on Skibidi Tower Defense, I realized that the game was thriving. There was no creators and barely any updates, but I knew that there was still an audience for people who used to like Toilet Tower Defense and decided to migrate into this game after its downfall. Although this game suffered some of the same things as Toilet Tower Defense, having Boom's 50% cut, and having some weird stuff going on behind the scenes of the owners, the developers had enough passion to create something that was actually made for fun. The same kind of passion that Talanthric started with when he made Toilet Tower Defense. While the numbers weren't the highest they've been, I'm sure that I played a decent role trying to bring back this game. Having great developers that keep really close contact with me is the best thing for their game and my channel. But there is a reason I'm making this video. You know how I mentioned that the owners were a bit iffy? They started showing signs. One of the owners of the game, Beach, sent out messages showing that they were going to release a new game, Italian Brainrot Tower Defense. If you haven't already seen my videos, after Talanthric gave up on Toilet Tower Defense, he tried to make Sword RNG, flop, Brainrot Tower Defense, which was also a flop, Squid Game Tower Defense, which is another flop, and more to come, wasting his money trying to follow trends that just won't work for him. My channel is proof that there is still an audience for this game. If 144,000 people can watch a video on Skibidi Tower Defense, then that means Defuk Boom's game isn't dead, and since there is quite literally no competition, the smartest idea would be to invest. But apparently the owners had the same ideas as Talanthric, and that's when I knew something was off. Updates started getting delayed, and after coming back from my 3-week holiday, I was met with something that shocked me to my core.
We are not horses. We are developers. And developers are
Metaprox has quit Skibidi Tower Defense, meaning there is only one developer left, being Pinecrumb. Respect to both of these people, however the only thing that saddens me is, like I expected, none of the owners have bothered to find a replacement, and Pine has mentioned that he cannot develop the game all by himself. It is impossible. This is the end of Skibidi Tower Defense. I don't want to quit this game, but if the owners don't step up, and this game never updates, it is doomed to die. Skibidi Defense is the only hope left for this whole niche. While this game isn't that bad, and has a player count similar to Skibidi Tower Defense, truth is, I don't know jack about this game, and from what I've seen and how the game plays, it is extremely hard for me to make content. So this is me speaking directly to my viewers. I will try my very hardest to hopefully make more videos on this game, and I'll also try more Skibidi Defense. But sooner or later, I know I'll have to switch up the content. And now I'm gonna be following in the footsteps of the one thing that I admired from Talanthric. Instead of going with everybody else and following what's trendy, I'm gonna go make my own game. So if you want to support it, feel free to buy some of the shirts that I have in my Roblox group. If you're rich and you want to invest, hit me up. If you want to see more genuine content, look at my Sherry Apps channel. This isn't the end, but I've come to the conclusion that I'm not sure how longer this can continue. So is this the end of Skibidi Toilet Roblox games? Well, yeah, I mean probably, but it ain't over until I win.